Good evening and welcome to the February 17th, 2026 edition of the Lake Forest City Council. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Certainly. Honorable Mayor Tack.
Here.
Alderman Novit. Here. Alderman Clemmons.
Here.
Alderman Notes. Here. Alderman Powers.
Here.
Alderman Levert.
Here.
Alderman Bothfeld.
Here.
Alderman Weber.
Here.
Alderman Walder is absent. Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Okay. All right, the first item is comments by mayor, and my only comments relate to the hospital. We let everybody know that the new pavilions at the hospital are open, including the new and enlarged emergency department. It does, however, have a different entrance. It's located adjacent to Westmoreland Road. So you please note that the old entrance is now closed. We are certainly very fortunate to have such a nice hospital in our community. That concludes my comments. The next comments are by City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council. Good evening. I have two items under my report this evening. The first is an acknowledgement that 2026 marks the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And in that vein, the City of Lake Forest is joining communities across the country to recognize that important milestone. And in planning and preparing for those festivities, the city recently convened a resident advisory group to assist with some of that planning, and we have the chairman of that group, former Alderman Era Gashgarian, who's here this evening. So I've asked Era to say a few words about the advisory group's work and that process, and then we'll also have Director of Parks and Recreation Mike Wick and Communications Director Dana Olson provide a little more detail about what's being planned over the next few months.
Thank you, Jason. Mayor Tack, members of the City Council, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Eric Ashkarian. I'm a Ward 3 resident. It's a pleasure to be in front of this august body. It really is. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate this perspective rather than the one up there. There's an old commercial that says, America, what do you love best? It's going back a few years. In that commercial, I won't mention the brand name, by the way. It's baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. And I didn't mention the brand name. America, what do you love best? Well, if they had asked me that back in 1974, I would have said the 4th of July, because at that point in time, we were coming up on the bicentennial. And there was some real magic attached with that. And in this day and age with what's going on in this country, I think that's it's a good time for us to reflect upon the goodness that's in this country, and allows us to come together as Americans, really, and celebrate all that we do stand for. The city manager, a few months ago, decided to convene an advisory board, and it's been a group that's been convened to help guide and shape the planning process and ensuring that there's a thoughtful approach to these celebrations. We really wanted to make it special. So we really wanted to think about some broad community outreach, engagement not just with a select few, which sometimes tends to be that pattern of repeating. And as I've spoken with Mayor Tack, I've said we've got some really fantastic input from this advisory committee, and I wanted to mention them all because they all have been really wonderful contributors. Mark Gorman, first off, Mark has been involved with boards and commissions. Mark previously sat on the Recreation, Parks and Rec board. Jackie Greca, representing sort of the younger demographic. Jackie was a president of the Friends Group. Steve Hill, many of you know Steve Hill. Steve has been an integral part of so many events and activities within the city of Lake Forest. Adam Mancuso, a name that's probably familiar to a lot of us. My fave, Debbie Saran. Debbie and I are that group of people who remembers celebrating 1976, and Jeff Urso, and many of you know Jeff Urso. You know, working closely with city staff, the advisory group has helped provide ideas for what the celebration should look like. And we've convened several times and come up with multiple ideas. We've asked for input from a lot of people. And I think we're sort of putting together a collage of a really great way to spend a long weekend and actually prior to that weekend. Beginning in April, residents will start to see the USA-themed patriotic and American-inspired events and activities taking place throughout the community. There's one, at this point I'm going to have Mike Wick come up and start bullet pointing those, but there's one in particular that was brought up in our advisory group that I kind of wish that the mayor and city council 50 years ago had done. We're going to make a suggestion of doing a time capsule. So my suggestion, my charge to you, Mayor Tack, is to you and your city council sit down as a group and look at the state of, not our country, but of our city right now and what you think of it. And then honestly look forward and look and see what your hopes and aspirations are for the city. So hopefully 50 years from now, whomever that mayor is, whomever she or he is, will be able to open up that time capsule and reflect upon what your thoughts were here in 2026. So I'd like for Mike Wick to come up and start sharing some of those ideas and events.
Thank you, Chair Goshgarian. Would like to touch a little bit on the July 2nd through July 5th component of the celebration, which I would view as the core of the celebration weekend, building upon things we've previously done and expanding and enhancing some of the opportunities for our community. So on the 2nd, we will have a concert in the square, which, as many of you know, we have traditional Thursday concerts in the square. Generally, we take the 4th of July weekend off, really focusing on the festival and fireworks celebration. This year, we are going to have a concert. In addition to the concert, we are working on planning a Taste of Lake Forest event. Carrie Culp is leading that, and that is, we've reached out to our business partners. They have been tremendously supportive and excited about the opportunity to participate. We had our initial meeting last Tuesday, the 10th. A lot of great ideas came from that, more of a brainstorming session about what's that going to look like. We're targeting to use Bank Lane as the hub for it, so that ties in nicely with the concert on the square, provides some great synergy for the restaurants, the businesses. It should be a really nice night for community engagement, a nice night out with your friends, a good taste event. On the 3rd, there'll be a ticketed dinner event at Eloa Farms. They've been a great partner of ours previously, and we're looking forward to partnering with them again. Think of that as your traditional sit-down ticketed dinner, opportunity to meet with friends, family, neighbors, really a community building as the theme that Chair Goshgarian touched on, a community memorable event. That's really the theme that you'll see playing out through a lot of our activities this weekend and throughout the year. That then moves us to July 4th, where we will be having our festival and fireworks event with a little bit of an elevated theme. Previously, the Friends of Parks and Recreation have led this event. They've done a tremendous job with it in the past. We are looking to build on their successes and just kind of take it to another level, put a little bit of a different spin on it. When I say that, I mean we're going to have 5 to 7 food vending options. We are going to have a little bit of enhanced family activity options in the bounce house realm, in the family activity realm. We have 2 bands currently booked. Fletcher Rockwell will be the opener. They're classic American rock. They play a lot of covers, high energy band. I think they'll be a real crowd pleaser. And the main act will be the Freddie Jones Band. So many of you are probably familiar with them. We're very fortunate to get them booked. We very much look forward to them coming and playing our show as the headlining act. And then the night will conclude with the fireworks show, as was previously brought to council for approval. And it will be a special patriotic 250th themed show. The group we've worked with in the past has done a tremendous job. We've enjoyed working with them to get to this point. I think you'll be really impressed with what you see that night. And then concluding on Sunday, we're gonna have an ice cream social at the beach. And that's gonna be another opportunity for us to engage with some service organizations and community partners. We had a meeting with the Legion on Monday to really start the partnership there. They expressed interest in working with us on this event. So, I think it'd be a nice wrap to the weekend. It'll be a busy 4 days of activity. the thought process was that there'd be something for everyone to do. We touched all demographics, and really our goal is to find a way for everybody to be proud of their community and engage with their community. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dana Olson to touch on some of our community partnerships. Thank you.
So in addition to what's planned for the 4th of July weekend, there's a variety of events that will be happening throughout the year, primarily starting in April, but some are already underway. And so up on the screen there, you see logos from the partner institutions and organizations that will be joining us in these celebrations. And so you'll see there's Ragdale, which we have a representative from Ragdale here tonight, is on the list. We have some educational institutions, art institutions, the History Center. The response has been very positive from the community in being interested in doing something that relates to their core mission that ties to America's 250th. And so what do some of those events look like? The History Center has a 10-part lecture series coming up that ties American history with Lake Forest history. The Chamber of Commerce is going to do a celebration of independently owned stores in July to engage our business community. Gorton Drama Studio has expressed interest in doing performances before the concerts in the square to showcase some short skits that have to do with American history. And then also in the arts realm, Lake Forest College for their spring concert, band and choir are going to be celebrating American composers and also some patriotic music at that event. Lake Forest Day is kind of on the tail end of our events from April through August, and the theme will be connected to the 250th anniversary. The Recreation Department is partnering with Open Lands on a walking series that connects to the natural history of our area. And the Lake Forest Library has a bunch of events that are planned as well. And the History Center has a rotating exhibit that's planned that connects Lake Forest families with American history. And then in addition to our local organizations, Lake County is doing a essay and art contest for students aged K through 12. And so perhaps there are some here tonight who may be interested in participating in that, but that's another way to celebrate the milestone. And then as Chair Goshgarian mentioned, the time capsule concept, which we're exploring a physical time capsule that would go in the ground, as well as a complementary digital time capsule that would be accessible for people now. So that's a place to capture stories, videos, photos, so that we can celebrate what Lake Forest looks like today in 2025. So what's next? You'll start seeing the 250th logo pop up around town on city events and also those partners that I mentioned. We'll be pushing this out through all the city's digital channels, website, social media, email, and highlighting not just the city events, but also what our partners have planned. And then in the summer dialogue, we're gonna do a deep dive into what's happening around the 4th of July weekend and connect in with the history. And so there's a QR code there on the slide that takes you to the webpage, but we have a webpage that has information about the celebration and then an exhaustive list of the events that includes details like dates and times for what's been confirmed now, and we are continually adding to that as additional events are planned. So with that, we'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Dana? Sounds pretty cool. Looking forward to it. Thanks for all the work.
It's gonna be a good time.
Thank you.
Okay. The second item under my report is tonight's community spotlight, and I'm welcome the Ragdale Foundation as part of that spotlight. The foundation, I long think of the comments the former Mayor Pandeleon used to say when he referred to a community filled with many treasures and hidden gems. And I think Ragdale personifies that both as its contributions and its role in Lake Forest's cultural life, but also in the role they play as stewards of the original Howard Van Dorenshaw estate. And it's timely for us to have Ragdale here This year, because it's a big year for the foundation, celebrating their 50th anniversary, which is sneak peek for the community, something that will be memorialized on this year's city vehicle sticker in partnership with the Lake Forest Preservation Foundation. So it's an exciting time for Ragdale, and I'm pleased to be able to introduce Executive Director Paul Sakaridis, who's here to tell a little bit about updates happening and what to expect in the year ahead. So Paul, turn it over to you.
Thanks so much. Can everyone hear me all right?
Very good.
Great. Well, Mayor Tack and members of the City Council, thanks so much. It's really, it's a pleasure to get to do this work, and it's a real pleasure to get to share it with folks in our community, so thank you. So my goal in a really short amount of time here, and my former life was as a college professor, so I can move through this, is to give you a bit of a background on Ragdale for folks who might be less familiar with it. I think your comment, Jason, of being kind of we're a bit of, I think historically been a bit of the best known, best kept secret, right? And we're trying to change that perception. And then to tell you a little bit about the work we're doing as we lead up to our 50th. And so as background, a reminder, Ragdale itself and Ragdale House was built in 1897. This was the home of Howard Van Doren Shaw, and built as a summer retreat really for his wife, Frances Wells Shaw, and their children. Over many decades, Ragdale House hosted artists throughout the family. There were architects, designers, painters, weavers, poets, sculptors, and their family really lived this incredibly creative life. Ragdale House now is listed on the National Historic Register. It's widely celebrated as a surviving example of arts and crafts architecture. And as a place, we became a residency program in 1976. And in 2026, as was mentioned, we'll celebrate our 50th anniversary. And so this is a beautiful image of the interior of Ragdale House, where our artists and residents live and work. As an organization, we award roughly 150 residencies a year to writers, dancers, choreographers, musicians, composers, architects, and visual artists. And Ragdale, in addition to being a real, I think, gem in the community, is also one of the largest and most renowned interdisciplinary residency programs in the country. We have had over 129 years of creativity on that site, continuously and unbroken. And since 1976, we've supported over 5,000 alumni. This is an example of one of the rooms where writers would work. And so they're living and working in this historic home as well as 3 other homes on our property. Our mission is, I think pretty rich, which is that we believe that engaging with creativity is essential to a healthy and vibrant world, and that our mission is to steward an inspirational environment that fosters courageous and inclusive community through our artist residencies. And while we sit on a historic site, over many decades, Ragdale has also changed. While we have helped to preserve the historic preservation of that property, we've also built some new buildings that I think really support our mission. This building was built in 2022, and this is the Sybil Shear Dance and Music Studio, as you can see from this drone shot. And what this beautiful building has done is it's helped to expand Ragdale's mission, and it's allowed us to now support artists in much broader ways. So this has dramatically expanded our ability to support dance artists, and it's also dramatically expanded our ability to support artists who have disabilities. So we now on a regular basis are supporting artists who are wheelchair users. And in fact, this past summer, we hosted this group, which is a mixed ability dance company called Momenta from Chicago. And they had 15 dancers with us, and half the group were all wheelchair dancers. We do many things, but we could really break them down into a couple categories. We offer competitive residencies. This is a national call that we put out each year. We have 11 sessions a year, 15 artists per session. This year was the highest application number in our history. We had over 700 people apply to the program, and we have a 20% acceptance rate. We have creative sabbaticals that are a regional call that bring people at all different points in their careers. We have themed residencies for groups and partners. We do educational outreach, primarily with high school students through our High School Arts Week. And then we also do a variety of community programs, from public and private tours to reading groups, open studios, and special events. In 2026, these are some exciting projects coming up. Ragdale is going to present the 13th edition of what we call the Ragdale Ring Design Build Competition. When Ragdale was originally built in 1897, Howard's wife, Frances, was a playwright, and on the property was this beautiful ring. And what they did was they put on these performances during the summers for friends. And so what happened 13 years ago is that my predecessor, Jeff Mewson, decided we should modernize this Ragdale ring as a model. And this year, we're delighted to bring it back. This is open to architects and designers to construct a temporary outdoor venue that we then program for the community. This is an example of a prior project proposal, just to show you what we review. And in fact, tomorrow morning, we are reviewing and selecting our winners. And then this was the selected project from a few years ago called Rounds. And so this is another way that we support artists and also that we support emerging architects and designers to build something that otherwise they might not have the opportunity to build. And it's also a way for us to think about how we bring people to the campus and engage our community. So this is a musical performance, again, from a few years ago. And so tomorrow we select the winners for 2026 and for 2027. As was mentioned, something was happening in 1976. Many organizations are celebrating 50 years. And as we identify our anniversary goals, we streamlined them into 3 main points that I think are most important for us. One is to greatly increase our organizational awareness at a local and national level. The second is to deepen our engagement with the broader public and key partners. And the third is to increase our operational capacity and long-range fiscal sustainability. So these are really the drivers for not arriving at the 50th, but using the 50th as a springboard to move into our next chapter. Some of the projects and initiatives that'll dot out our year, which is going to begin in May of 2026 and run through the following year. Howard Van Doren Shaw was born and died on the same day, interestingly enough, so we've decided to use that as a good point. We're currently working with a Chicago-based design firm on a brand refresh, a new website, collateral materials, and a marketing strategy that'll launch in May. We're returning, as I mentioned, to the Ragdale Ring. That'll be announced in March. We're doing a deep evaluation internally of our programs and staff alignment. We're doing increased fundraising for operations, and we're doing really deep work for long-range fiscal planning. A sneak peek at some of the anniversary events coming up. We have a big gala on May 16. We have an exhibition in partnership with the History Center of Lake Forest, Lake Bluff that's going to tell the story of Ragdale. We're partnering on a preservation symposium with the Lake Forest Preservation Foundation. Again, we'll have about 5 to 6 Ragdale Ring performances, as well as making that structure open to members of the community to utilize. We'll have author events and readings, some alumni gatherings, and a variety of community engagements. And the last part that I wanted to update you on is something that I think is quite remarkable and very exciting, which is that Ragdale received a $368,000 grant from the National Park Service as part of a program called Save America's Treasures. And this is going to be used for the rehabilitation of our arts and crafts garden. This was a matching grant, which required us to raise an additional $300,000, which I'm pleased to report we raised in January. And work is going to be completed on this garden in late 2027. This federal program was established in 1998, and the goal of it was to celebrate premier cultural resources within the U.S. And these funded projects represent nationally historic properties and collections that convey our nation's rich heritage to future generations. And so this is a very difficult grant to get, and with this project will come that kind of stamp from the National Park Service. This is an archival image of what Ragdale looked like when the Shaws were living there, and we've used these sorts of images and original drawings of the garden to inform the work that we're going to do as we undertake this preservation and restoration work. And so this is a schematic drawing that was produced by Rossborough Partners. We're also working with Craig Bergman on this project. And this is showing what kind of the overhead view of the gardens will be like. And while we're not, in some ways we're changing it from what it looks like now, but what we're really doing is we're bringing it back to what the original intention was, which is part of our work in terms of a commitment to historic preservation. And so these are just some study samples to show you the kind of rich landscape that we think is going to be present there. And when this project is complete, I see this as a really wonderful entryway for the community to visit Ragdale. And this is the last slide, which is, I think, really important for us all to remember, which is this is something that a resident told us, and I think it underscores really a philosophy of Ragdale, which is magic happens all the time in our lives, but we often don't take the time to notice. And at Ragdale, you finally have the time, and then you notice all of this magical world that you're surrounded by. And so I think our work as an organization is very delicate in the way that we support artists. I think our work's really important in that we're seeding the future of American art and culture. And I think our work's really essential in that we're located in this remarkable community. And so I think that what you'll see after this next chapter, as we enter it, is going to be an organization that is clearer, that's open to the public in new ways, and that is going to set us on a course for success, hopefully far beyond my time and any of our time here. So thank you. Happy to take any questions if there are any.
Couple of comments. I would like to say this. I think I lived here for 20 years before I had any idea that Ragdale even existed. And then I probably only knew it existed by driving by it and wondering what that was. So I'm really excited about the fact that you're starting to, sort of bring this out to the community and make people aware of what's there. I mean, we all have walked through it, and it is kind of a magical little space, but it's one of those things, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it, does it make noise? And Ragdale's always kind of been like that.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? All right, Alderman Powers.
Paul, thank you for the presentation. The whole time I kept thinking about how can we help you guys collaborate in terms of, to the mayor's point, make this more known to the community. I know you guys do a tremendous amount over, year in and year out, but there may be a way that we as a city can help you do that at the same time.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. We're thinking about that a lot right now.
Very good. Alderman Weber.
Thank you, Paul. This final part of your presentation regarding the garden restoration particularly struck with me, being a background in horticulture. And I just wanted to encourage you to perhaps connect with we have 4 garden clubs in Lake Forest. I know that I was with a club going back a number of years. We had a meeting at Ragdale. And so I think just partnering with those like-minded groups will continue to enhance your presence among the community.
Thank you for that.
Other comments or questions? Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Paul, and Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report this evening.
All right, the next item on the agenda is an opportunity for citizens to address the city council on non-agenda items. Is there anyone who would like to address the council? Please come to the dais.
When was it?
Hi, I am Isabel Paulson, Teen Miss Lake Forest, Lake Bluff, and I started pageants about a year ago, and I thought it was all getting in fun and pretty dresses, but it turned out to be so much more than that. In the Lake Forest, Lake Bluff community pageant, we focus on community service and building friendship skills, along with many other skills. I love working with local businesses is one of my favorite parts. Feed My Starving Children is one of my favorite. Feed My Starving Children is a globally known place that feeds over 5 billion children. This organization has fed so many children globally, and they have fed people with only 210 calories in their meals. And yeah, thank you.
You got this. You got it.
Stand on the chair.
Hi, I'm Olivia Grace Bosselman, Little Miss, Lake Forest, Lake Bluff. I'm 7 years old and a second grader at Roundout School. I love all the pretty dresses and crowns. Pageants pageants are all about confidence and community service. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jami Venkataslam. I'm freshly 13 and I proudly represent Lake Forest Lake Bluff in the junior division. I'm so happy and honored that we get to speak here today and talk about what we do and our impact on the community. Our pageant is so much more than crowns and dresses. As a community pageant, our areas of competition include speeches and interview, which build skills beyond just interview and public speaking. It builds confidence, leadership skills, and a strong character. As title holders, we like to stay involved in our community. We volunteer at local events, support charitable organizations like Bernie's Book Drive or Feed My Starving Children, and help where we are needed. Whether it's assisting community celebrations, participating in service projects, or supporting local causes, we strive to represent Lake Forest and Lake Bluff with kindness, leadership, and the spirit of service. Most importantly, it encourages girls to give back to their community, support one another, and celebrate diversity. It's about empowering young girls to believe in themselves and recognize their voices and actions and make a difference. Programs like this are vital to the community. They grow children who are confident, responsible, and leaders. They encourage civic engagement and teach us the value of service and community pride. We are currently looking for community support to help our program continue to grow. We welcome local sponsors, partnerships with community organizations, and opportunities to serve at local events. If you are interested at all or have anyone who might be interested in competing, please reach out. Besides what I've listed, leadership skills, interview skills, help with confidence, it also looks good on college applications if that convinces anybody. Thank you.
And getting involved with your organization, how do they do this?
You could reach out to our director, Brooke Allen, or we have a website, LCCP, and in there is all the contact information of all of the directors if anyone's comfortable with reaching out.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are there others who would like to address the council?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and our wonderful council members. Gosh, that just took me back several years to when my cousins were in pageants, and one actually made it to the Miss America pageant. So cheers, ladies. You're just amazing. Anyway, I just wanted to thank the council for being good stewardships of our money. As you may know, there was a park update that involved only 4 bathrooms and probably 2 water stations in California for $1 million. So I know that we're planning upgrading one of our parks for a little bit more than that, but look how much more we're getting. We're getting buildings and all kinds of things. So thank you for being good stewardships and all your hard work.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Oh, polypositive ELF one.
Very good. Anybody else who would like to address the council on non-agenda items? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to committee reports. And the first report will be from the Environmental Sustainability Committee. This will be a report on bottle fill stations presented by Chairman Nancy Novitt.
Hi, everybody. The Environmental Sustainability Committee is very excited about recommending in our omnibus schedule for tonight the purchase and installation of 8 bottle fill stations in parks across the city to replace the standard drinking fountains we have in place. We've already received positive feedback for the 2 bottle station fillers we've put in at Forest Park Beach and South Park. And the reason for the substitution of these new bottle fillers is that you can use them to fill water bottles, use single-use plastics. They also have dog bowl attachments. So your dog can get a drink of water while they're in the park as well. Very, very important. We work closely with Public Works to identify the best locations for the new stations. So they're going in at Elloa, Everett Park, Waveland Park, Kinder Haven, another one at South Park in concert with the baseball field redesign, and at Northcroft Park. And we will continue to look for other fountains that we can replace and do it on an availability basis. So we're proud of how practical this project is and how it contributes to the sustainability of goals of our committee. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And they do, I see, have traditional drinking fountains associated.
Oh, yes, of course, at 2 heights. Adult
Excellent.
and children.
Perfect. Excellent. All right, the next item on the agenda is a presentation from the Public Works Committee. This will be approval of a resolution for a joint funding agreement for federally funded right-of-way with the State of Illinois Department of Transportation for the Waukegan and Everett project, section number 11-00091-00-CH, for a local match estimated at $218,860, and authorize the city manager to execute required agreements and additional paperwork as required by IDOT related to work on the project. This will be presented by Byron Coots, Superintendent of Engineering.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. This project has been in the works going back to, 2009, but it's been maybe 3-4 years since we've discussed it at Council. So before I get to the actual item for approval tonight, just want to remind everyone the project needs. So this intersection has a lot of traffic congestion at times, during drop-off and pickup for adjacent schools, and then also with the train tracks there. There's a lot of times where it just really backs up. Also doing this, the study going back to 2009 was trying to accommodate future developments in the area, particularly the southeast corner. And then one of the other goals of the project was improving safety adjacent to the railroad tracks. As I mentioned, the scope goes back to 2009. In terms of the scope, each one's, there we go. So I'll just start at the top here. We're adding a dedicated right turn lane going south, lengthening the left turn lane if you're going east over the tracks, and we're also adding some curb and gutter to basically prevent someone from going around the gate. So that was kind of the safety feature that I mentioned a minute ago. Lengthening the right turn lane going east as well. Lengthening and restriping the left turn lane going westbound. And then adding a dedicated right turn lane from westbound to northbound Waukegan. So widening and adding all these lanes requires, especially in an urban area like this, requires additional right-of-way, and that's why we're here tonight. First, I'll just show you kind of a picture, an aerial looking down, showing the area. So the purple or blue on the left is right-of-way or easements that's needed with Metro. We're coordinating with them on that to see if there's any involvement with us that's needed. Now looking at the main intersection, in the pink or red is proposed right-of-way, so that would be basically land that we need permanently to be within our right-of-way in order to expand for right turn lanes and these other left turn lanes as well. The green would be a proposed temporary easement, so that would just be during construction to allow for access and staging and just physically constructing the intersection. In terms of the southeast corner, I know there's been some developments over the years that have been potentially going in there. We are working with community development and kind of monitoring that situation in case if the ownership of that parcel does change. So this is very similar to the approvals that you all approved for some of the grant projects last year for construction, except for this is for right-of-way. So due to the fact that we received federal grants, so we actually received two. We received one for construction, and then we received another one for right-of-way. Because we're using those federal funds for right-of-way, we have to go through this process, fill out a very similar form, joint funding agreement in order to use those funds, and we can't even really start the process until we have this agreement signed. The local match is $218,000, so the overall estimate of the land acquisition is about $1 million, and our match would be about $218,000 of that. That being said, that number could change and will most likely change once the appraisals and the negotiation starts. The city match becomes available this May 1st. That's why we're coming here tonight to get that approval in advance. Now, in terms of the overall construction schedule, we're still a couple years out on that one. We're looking to bid out the project with the state in January of 2028, with construction starting sometime in the spring and then wrapping up in the fall. The action that that I'm requesting tonight may be revised if needed, but with the last two agreements that we did with IDOT, they didn't have any changes. So the hope is that the language tonight will not need to change. And some of the properties are potentially donating, and that could offset some of the costs. So the $218,000 is just an estimate. And like I said, it could change depending on the negotiation and the appraisals. So with that, I can take any questions.
Move on to questions. I'm going to offer the young ladies an opportunity. I know how fascinating this is, but you don't feel compelled to stay unless you really want to. If you would like to leave, this would be a good time.
Thank you.
All right, so are there any comments or questions for Superintendent Coots? Alderman Weber.
First of all, thank you so much. This is exciting. As we know, sometimes city projects can take a long time, and I'm thrilled that this is going to start to take action, literally with shovels in the ground, coming in within the next year, hopefully. I had one question, and excuse me if this might not be the right time, and if it's not, we can circle back offline. But early in one of your earlier slides, you talked about a curb and gutter at the tracks. And
like a median.
A median, okay. So it just occurred to me as being someone in the Fourth Ward who frequently moves through that intersection. Was there any concern about fire vehicles, trucks getting through that intersection now that you put a median there? Because right now, when they go to clear, they have to drive through the middle of the lanes. So again, we can follow up offline, but.
Yeah, I think I can answer that generally. So whenever we design new improvements like this, there's obviously design standards that we adhere to. We run what they call auto turns. So basically you put the geometry into a computer and you can pick the type of vehicle, the design vehicle. So they'll run like different ambulances and fire trucks through there to make sure they can make the turns. And because we're using federal funds, the reviews go through IDOT, and they have a geometry unit that specializes in reviewing these type of projects. They have something called an intersection design study. It's like a whole plan set and exhibit just dedicated to the operation of the intersection and the turning movement. So that was something that was looked at, but I can certainly go back and check that.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Levert.
Thank you. I just had a quick question. So once you're awarded the grant, how long is it good for? So if we're not starting till 2028, is the time sensitive? It's more curiosity. How long do you get money?
So we work with the Lake County Council of Mayors. So whenever we applied for the STP funds for construction, we apply through them. Whenever we applied for the STP shared funds that we use for the right-of-way, we applied through CMAP. They are aware of our construction years. So originally, we were actually going to build Waukegan Everett before Waukegan Wesley. But once we got the right-of-way grant funds, that money wasn't available until this May 1st. So we ended up switching those projects. We coordinated with Lake County Council of Mayors, and they're able to make those changes. In terms of just the overall grant, I think it's like 10 years, but I'm not sure exactly. But the Lake County of Mayors is aware of our timeline, and we shouldn't have any issues.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions? All right, well, thank you for the presentation. Is there anybody from the public that would like to comment on this matter? All right, seeing none, then I would ask for a motion to approve a resolution for a joint funding agreement for federally funded right-of-way with the State of Illinois Department of Transportation.
So moved.
Second.
I'm not finished. For the Waukegan Everett Project,
Paused.
section number 11-00091-00-CH for a local match estimated at $218,860, and authorize the city manager to execute required agreements and additional paperwork as required by IDOT related to work on this project.
So moved.
Second.
This will be a roll call vote.
Alderman Notes.
Aye.
Alderman Powers.
Aye.
Alderman Levert.
Aye.
Alderman Bothfeld.
Aye.
Alderman Weber.
Aye.
Alderman Novit.
Aye.
Alderman Clements.
Aye.
7 yea, 0 nay, motion carries.
All right, very good. We will move on to the next item, which is items for omnibus vote consideration, of which there are 8 this evening, as always. I'm sorry?
9.
9. This says 8, that says 9. Reading from the different thing. I only have 8 here.
8.
All right. 8. All right. So as always, if there are any items that the alderman would like removed or taken separately, please let me know after I complete reading all of the items. Item 1, approval of the December 1st, 2025 City Council meeting minutes. Item 2, approval of the check register for the period of November 15th through December 26th, 2025. Item 3, approval to extend the city's grant services agreement with the Ferguson Group for grant research and writing services for 2026. Item 4, approval of Vercada security camera and access control maintenance for fiscal year 2026 from Modern Media Technologies in the amount of $43,770. Item 5, consideration to waive the bidding process and authorize the city manager to execute an agreement in the amount of $44,500 with Pyrotechnico Services for the fireworks display at the festival and fireworks event to be held at Deer Path Park, July 4th, 2026. Item 6, approval of an Illinois Department of Transportation resolution appropriating $1,500,000 in motor fuel tax funds to be used for the 2026 annual pavement resurfacing program. Item 7, consideration of an ordinance approving a recommendation from the Building Review Board for 50.
Mr. Mayor, if I may,
Yes?
these items are from the previous city council meeting. If we can go,
All right.
I do not have the same thing that he has.
Thank you. Forget all of that.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, if it's easier, perhaps we could proceed to old business, and in the meantime, the city clerk could print off the correct omnibus items, unless you have it right there.
Oh, that would be great.
Nancy.
All right.
Right, Nancy?
It's the entire package, so it's got all the backup information.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, so might I suggest,
All right. There you go.
my apologies.
It's okay.
And yes, there are 9.
It's on our toes. Okay.
Whoever's that is, that's too small.
That's kind of weird.
Let's start over.
I know, I'm like, wait.
Same rules apply. There are 9 items this evening, some of which seem to be the same. Item number 1, approval of the January 20th, 2026 City Council meeting minutes. Item 2, approval of February 2nd, 2026 City Council meeting minutes. Item 3, consideration of an ordinance approving a fee schedule adjusting water rates for fiscal year 2027, second reading. Item 4, consideration of a request to waive the fidelity bond requirement in connection with holding the raffles in the City of Lake Forest Country Day School. Approval by motion. Item 5, approval of a resolution reallocating 2026 volume cap to the Village of Buffalo Grove, Illinois. This does sound more familiar. Item 6, approve a one-year extension to an existing contract with Vogue Printers for Dialogue newsletter printing services in the amount of $26,076 and a 5% contingency in the amount of $1,304 for a grand total of $27,380. Item 7, approve the purchase of 8 bottle fill stations for Most Dependable Fountains in the amount of $33,720 to be installed in various parks throughout the city. Item 8, consideration to waive the bidding process and authorize the purchase of pre-owned 2014 J70 sailboat in the amount of $40,000. And item 9, award a contract for the installation of water main at the Waukegan and Wesley intersection to DeMayo Brothers, and authorize the city manager to execute an agreement in the amount of $49,000 to include a 10% contingency in the amount of $4,900 for a total cost of $53,900. Are there any items that the alderman would like removed or taken separately? All right, hearing none, then can I have a motion to approve the omnibus items as presented the second time?
So moved.
Second. This would be a roll call vote.
Alderman Powers.
Aye.
Alderman Levert.
Aye.
Alderman Bothfeld.
Aye.
Alderman Weber.
Aye.
Alderman Novit.
Aye.
Alderman Clements.
Aye.
Alderman Notes.
Aye.
7 yeas, 0 nay. Motion carries. My apologies.
No, my apologies for just reading it and not paying attention. All right, the next item on the agenda is old business, and this will be a motion to approve grant final reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 78 of the City Code related to parking and loading schedules, and approve the zones depicted in the map provided titled Central Business District Parking Zones. This will be presented by Carrie Kaup, Assistant to City Manager.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Just wanted to give you a brief update since our last meeting on CBD parking. So before you take final action tonight, we wanted to let you know that per your direction at the last meeting, we have added language into each of the appropriate schedules to identify that 30-minute, 90-minute, and parking lot time restrictions will be enforced from 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Secondly, you had conversation about the 30-minute spaces in the train depot parking lots, and we did receive a fair amount of feedback after our meeting from individuals who were concerned about losing those spaces, specifically for the businesses that operate out of the train station, and also correctly identifying that we did not include any short-term quick stop parking east of the tracks. So we've added 4 spaces back into the North Train Depot lot to kind of allay those concerns. Finally, we made some general housekeeping updates throughout, making sure titles matched and tables looked good. Nothing that substantively changes anything we reviewed at the last meeting. And so we are just asking for final reading of the ordinance tonight. And if you have any questions about any of these small updates, I'd be happy to take those questions.
Are there any questions or comments for Ms. Kaup? Okay, is there anybody in the audience that would like to address the council on this matter?
Back again. I just wanted to thank the council and especially Carrie and her team for all their hard work. I'm pleased to see some of the changes. So I have no exception to anything. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council on this matter? All right, seeing none. Carrie, thank you very much. All right, at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to grant final reading of the ordinance amending Chapter 78 of the City Code related to parking and loading schedules, and approve the zones depicted in the map provided titled Central Business District Parking Zones as amended.
So moved. Second.
This will be a roll call vote.
Alderman Levert.
Aye.
Alderman Bothfeld.
Aye.
Alderman Weber.
Aye.
Alderman Novit.
Aye.
Alderman Clemmons.
Aye.
Alderman Notes.
Aye.
Alderman Powers.
Aye.
7 yea, 0 nay, motion carries.
Very good. The next item on the agenda is new business, of which there is none this evening. At this time, I would like to ask if there are the council members. Was what I was just going to ask for. Would you like to make a comment?
I would like to make a comment, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to thank Lake Forest Hospital for opening the new emergency room. I've had personal experience there, and the facility is beautiful and very well run, and the staff was great, and it was a very positive experience. So thank you to the hospital.
Very good. Are there others who would like to comment? All right. Hearing none. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn into executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2, C and 11. The city council will be discussing pending litigation.
So moved.
Second.
All right, this will be a roll call vote.
Alderman Bosfeld.
Aye.
Alderman Weber.
Aye.
Alderman Novit.
Aye.
Alderman Clemmons.
Aye.
Notes.
Aye.
Alderman Powers.
Aye.
Alderman Levert.
Aye.
7 yea, 0 nay, motion carries.
Very good. At the completion of the executive session, there will be no further business of the city council this evening. Thank you.